All right, hey. I had a couple questions on some of my timing belt videos when I was like, yeah, replace the cam seals. So I finally have the opportunity. This one needs it. If you look, right, I kind of really have this cleaned up. But this one here was leaking. You can see that it is a Chrysler one. But this engine, somebody had, I don't know, used like 2 or 3 tubes of blue silicone. So we're resealing these. We're installing new cam seals. I did clean everything off. I got to pull this off and put a new front seal on. I resealed this right through here. That red stuff, that's actually some grease. They had that all siliconed up. So just kind of going over everything and getting it fixed up. But what we're focusing on is going to be the cam seals, right? Okay. So take off your valve cover bolts. Get your valve cover off. You'll be able to see some of the blue silicone down on here because it still needs cleaned up yet. Because I just, yeah. New valve cover with stuff. But I'm getting a new valve cover gasket. I will be installing that. And we're getting a new timing belt and stuff, which is en route. So I'm going to get the valve cover off, and then I'll show you what you got to do next. All right, so we got our valve cover off. Like I said, this is how I do it. It might not be right. It could be wrong. I haven't had any issues doing it this way, so they really have this sucker tight, dude. They should not be this tight. There's no reason for that. I'll probably end up doing the other cam cap on the other side too because I got it full of silicone. That way I know it's right. Okay. Now, I got a couple different things. This has silicone on, so it's going to be pretty tight usually. Kind of tap on it. Break it loose. There is, I'll show you. There's these rings that are on here. Right here. These right here. So you got to watch you don't damage them. Alright. Now you can tell they did not clean properly off the old sealant before they were putting new sealant on. Like I said, they have, I don't know what they were doing. And then the problem was they didn't even seal this little cam end cap here. It's leaking down across here. But all right, cam seals. Cam seals, cam seals, cam seals. There's cam seal. Cam seals are removed, okay? That's all that takes to get them off, all right? Now, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to clean this all off. You don't want to use anything really rough, a grinder, an angle cleaner. Not only that, you want to try to keep any of the silicone from going down in here. It will go through the motor, and then it'll either end up in the pan or it'll be stuck to the bottom of the pickup, which you really don't want that either because it blocks oil flow. I already did the oil pan on this engine. So what I'm going to do is I have a razor blade, okay? So I'm going to lay it on here and pull it backwards toward me, away from the inside of the engine, and I can clean it up. Cap. When you're doing these are these little oil valleys, okay? Oil needs to lubricate in here, okay? And the only way the oil gets there is through here down in, all right? And then it'll flow back through, and then the seal stops from coming out. If you fill these up with silicone like this, you'll get wear hair and on the cam and stuff. So when you seal these, you want to make sure that you don't get anything that squeezes into these here in these valleys. So I just wanted to point that out. I have a wire brush here, okay? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to push it away from the inside, all right? There's a little bit in there. Just like this. Get that stuff, any of that silicone off of there. Wire brush does work pretty good to get that. I mean, this one's cool. It's got the little end on it, so I can kind of get like in between here. But I got to finish that part up there. What else was it? Now, down in here, I usually like to wipe these off here. You know, just kind of inspect stuff quick. I'll fold my paper towel and kind of shove it in here. All right. Make sure that this whole area in here is cleaned up. That there's no, you know what I mean? You don't want any debris or dirt. And then you can inspect down around here. You want to do that on both of them. Like I said, for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. Basically, take my blade, pull backwards, get all this stuff here cleaned off. You know, like I said, wire brush works. Right here, I don't have to be so worried because I'm not into the engine. Aluminum stuff, if you're gentle with a wire brush, usually you're okay. Most of the time, I prefer using a brass brush because it's actually a little bit more gentle on this stuff. Okay. All right. I'm going to put this in my parts washer. I'm just going to clean it off. That way it doesn't have any oil on it. I don't want, you know what I mean? You want to make sure that you're clean with oil. You could use some brake cleaner, you know what I mean, to get a lot of the stuff off. I still need to do in here. I'm going to get this cleaned off, and then I'll show you what I do to do the reseal, guys. So, and I'll show you what this looks like cleaned up. It's going to be a totally different part. All right, so here we go. We can check this thing out. And you can see we have it all cleaned up. All right, everything's nice and clean. I got everything out of these little holes. I used a little pick right here, got down in, along with the wire brush and everything else. All right, so everything's cleaned up. All right, now. Sure. Okay, so grab these new seals. All right, so I got a set of new Mopar cam seals. All right, now like I said, this is how I do it. Anytime I have any seals, axle seals, output shaft seals for transmissions, anything like this, what I prefer to do is I usually always fill the back of these. I've never had any problems with any of these that I've done over all the years. Is it necessary? Probably not. Is it extra work? Probably. Is it a safe peace of mind? Yes. I'm taking the extra time to do something that is going to help it. So basically, why you put this stuff in the back of these seals, all right? If you look in here, you'll see a little spring. All right, that spring goes around that seal and it helps apply the pressure here, okay? So, along with putting it in there, this is the side you're going to see. Put some here, okay? So what this is this is the surface that contacts the cam. Right here that I'm filling in now. All right. So that's the part that contacts the cam. We now have grease on there, okay? So when I slide it in here, it's easier if you have these off. I just put them there so I don't lose them. You can get on here, slide the cam seal in, make sure it's good. All right, so I get it almost seated all the way till after I get it in. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, there we go. That one was a little bit more tough than normal. So, I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to install it the exact same way. Pack the back side here. Like I said, it's extra work. Does it need to be done? Yes, no, maybe so. Who knows? But this is how I've done it, and this is just how it works, all right? Now, All right, got this filled in here. Now, like I said, when you push this over this, sometimes that'll want to roll back on you. I should have grabbed the camera on the other one. All right, see, this one here went right in. Perfect. Now this one here, I had a little bit of problems. I'm just gonna like roll it back off. It actually, right here, it popped this spring up on the seal. So I'm just gonna push it back in a little bit. Okay. All right. Maybe I needed to get this one here. Like, if you look at these, you'll see where it rubs the seal. It's actually pretty polished. Then the outer part here actually contacts the air. Some of them will be rusted. This one has a little bit of surface rust. I could have cleaned that off a little bit and it probably would have slid on really nice. This one over here didn't have any, so it slid on really, really good. Okay, so here we go. Try this again. All right, right on in. Okay, now since I was in here cleaning the part of the cam that's under the cap, I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease right there for initial fire. I mean, it's a used motor. It's been running, so it doesn't really need to be there per se. All right, so that's everything greased. All right, like I said, I don't like to seat these in all the way. I usually do it once I get the cam cap down on. I tap them in with a hammer, and then I get them flush. All right, got my bolts cleaned up. More grease on my fingers than what I want to have. Okay, so now that is done, need your silicone. Okay, here's your cap. All right, now like I said, you don't want to get a lot on here, so I just do a really thin coat, you know, and I'll like spread it around. Sometimes I'll even get, you know, I'll get some on there and I'll just get it coated with my finger. These things fit together nice and tight, so it's not really too much of a worry. And keep any of your, if you have any globs, keep them back. See, and then I'll do here. There's actually too much on this side here. I'll show you more once I get it on here. Okay, so that's where we're at there. Now, all I do is I just go, all right, try to even it out, make sure it's there. Okay, easy, done. All right, now this is going to set down on here. It'll line up with those two tabs. A little tap. Install your bolts, man. I'll have to look these up. I'm not sure. It's like so many inch-pounds or something like that. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but all I'm gonna do is I'll get these screwed tight. Okay, all right, I'll torque them then. If you look really close, you can see a little bit of silicone came out in them spots. So what I'm gonna do here now is I'll just wipe this grease off. It doesn't hurt that this grease is here. It doesn't hurt nothing, but we'll get it wiped off right there. Okay. I have a little tiny hammer. If you look down, see how it's not flush. Let me see, get this a little bit nicer. All right, so you can use that. You can use the back of a socket. If you have a seal thing that goes over top, you can push them in that way too. This is just, like I said, this is how I do it. I don't have any problems. Since I'm in here and I'm sticking new cam seals in, usually I like to seal the cam cap on the end also. I've already seen them leaking. All right, so there we go. They're flush. If you, for some reason, hit them in too far, you know what I mean, you can pop the cap back off and push them back out, you know, and usually get them seated to where you need them to be. So, with that saying, that's pretty much done. This side's going to be the same way. I'm just going to pull it off. Oil does flow up through here and feeds this. So, I'm curious to see if they got that packed with silicone. Hopefully, I mean, I didn't find any damage or anything over here, but... you know, there we go. There's cam seals. If you're going to be installing a timing chain or a cam or cams or anything, it's just a good idea to do them, just because it's so much work to get down in there at that stuff. So, all right, hopefully that one helped you out. And I'm going to get this motor together. Maybe I'll have it in the car today. It's one of those things. See ya.